What's up everyone, John from ARTV. It is time for a review of the 6th and unfortunately the final White Stripes album that we ever got. It's called Icky Thump. Now if you notice a little bit of a change in terms of the lens quality here, it's because I'm actually testing out a new lens. I purchased a new one, it didn't quite work out. Now I'm trying out one of my girlfriend's lenses and I'm considering buying a new one for myself, but those things are damn expensive. Anyways, just so you know, there might be a few changes in the next couple of weeks. Anyways, with this album, we see the White Stripes stepping away from the sound of Get Behind Me, Satan, which is one of my favorite records from them, but I had to admit, even at that time, going back, checking out some of their earlier stuff, getting Icky Thump, I was glad to see them return to a bit of a bluesier sound, something that has elements of punk, even some bluegrass, I would say, in places, and just the spirit of the White Stripes in general. They made everything from, you know, the more traditional sounding White Stripes stuff, like A Martyr for My Love for You, which has that bluesy appeal to it, a really sticky chorus, but a nice incorporation of other instruments as well, and then some more unique things like Rag and Bone, which sees Jack and Meg just going around collecting, asking people for their stuff that's on the side of the road, you know, just basically kind of like a talk sing type thing where it takes off as a story where they're walking around and then they're like, if you don't want it, we'll take it. And then it just breaks into all hell with the guitars cutting loose during the chorus. It's a fantastic and very unique song. A lot of you are probably familiar with the title track, Icky Thump, which is actually a translation of a foreign term, which is a surprise or an exclamation. Basically, if we shout damn or whoa or something like that, Icky Thump is that. And here in this title track, it actually peaked inside of the Billboard Hot 100, inside of the top 40, which these days, a song like that and one that weird with the lyrics that are all over the place, they would never chart. The unique production choices and the effects placed on the guitar and other instruments are what really make this album Icky Thump pop. And this title track in particular definitely has some weird sounds on it. You all know the intro and the guitar solo or whatever that little breakdown is. It's just so weird. It almost feels like a drunken ride home in a carriage from the middle of farmland into the city. I don't really know how to describe it, but that's my best attempt. One thing I noticed about this record compared to some of the other White Stripes albums is that overall it's much more positive. It shines a light a bit more into Jack White's world at the time. At the time he was happily married. He was seeing success with the White Stripes, the Racketeers, he was forming the Dead Weather, and things were going great for him creatively and musically, but unfortunately little did he know that the White Stripes were going to come to an end and the Racketeers would go on hiatus and all of these other things. It's not that he's had it rough by any means, it's just that I think this is one of the happiest times that we ever saw him in record form, and for that reason I love this because it does stand out, and I have to say this is one of my absolute favorite White Stripes records, and a top favorite for me that really just has sold me on it time and time again. Not really all of the songs, but towards the end of the record we really start getting the cream of the crop, starting with Little Cream Soda. I think I gave it away there, didn't I? Little Cream Soda is one that builds off of these slow guitars, and that's something that the White Stripes do. They lure you in with that kind of thoughtful intro, something that's building up, and you can see the suspense, and then they just unleash with a wall of noise on this one, especially with the guitar and the way that it trickles down and into the eardrum. It's something so special. I get so pumped up. I feel vivacious whenever I listen to a song like this because it just pumps you full of whatever they are feeling. And on Little Cream Soda, it seems like he's rambling about something or someone that maybe has been a bit too privileged, or maybe they get everything that is coming to them eventually, but right now they're on top of the world. Something is going to bring them down, you know? And he's talking about all these other themes, and it starts off with just a Little Cream Soda. Oh well, oh well, oh well. Branching out even further, we have another single, Conquest, which is actually a Corky Robbins cover from the 1950s. Now, the White Stripes are no stranger to covers. They've definitely done this before, like on I Just Don't Know What to Do With Myself, or even the Captain Beefheart cover that they did that I think is fantastic. The party of special things to do here on Conquest, they definitely add a lot of extra flair to it. You've got the horns, and you've got that thumping drum rhythm from Meg, and then Jack White howling on the Conquest. It just seems like one where they're out to take something down, and they made this song their own, just like they've done with really all of their covers, and that's what makes a cover good in the first place. Now, right after that, we get Bone Broke, another one of my absolute favorites, but then, in terms of the qualities that really just stand out from really anything else in the scene, you have Prickly Thorn, but Sweetly Worn, followed up by St. Andrew. This battle is in the air. This is something that I see them as stepping into Jack's Scottish roots. It's almost a bit of a Celtic tune, and you see everything from just all of the roll of the guitar, the other outside instrumentation on this track, the bagpipes. It's all fused together, and you don't think that something like this would really work, but it comes across as genius and just ecstasy whenever you listen to it, especially whenever it starts pumping you up. Those bagpipes really start to flare, and I don't really see myself as somebody who gets down to that, but whenever it's Jack White and he's a part of it, I'm on board, especially whenever it sounds this good. And especially on that second track, St. Andrew, I see this as being kind of a bluesy tune, especially in terms of the lyrical content. There's definitely some emotion, and it seems like there's either a pitch-shifted voice from Meg or Jack on this one, and I love what's being said there. I highly suggest reading along with the lyrics because they can be a little bit hard to understand, especially if you're just hearing it for the first or second time. Whenever you listen to the White Stripes, there's always one thing in particular that you're going to be looking for, and that is those signature Jack White guitar leads. And one song that really stands out from the pack on this record in particular is Catch Hell Blues. It's something that definitely builds off of fast riffing and really just tears into the song. It builds up so much and almost just seems like it's letting out a lot of tension and aggression, and especially as he howls, "I'm gonna catch hell," and then those guitars just rip you to shreds. That is a moment that is not to be missed. And then right after that, the final track on this record, Effect and Cause. In terms of the lyrical content, it is very White Stripes because it almost seems like they give a lot of advice and warnings, basically saying, you know, you can't take the effect and make it the cause, is what he's saying on this one. But he's done that a lot with his lyrical content in the past. I've always loved that about the White Stripes. But the guitars on this one, they go from being menacing on the track before to light and airy and almost, dare I say, fun on something like Effect and Cause. It's just showing how versatile of a player he is and how truly talented of a lyricist, a musician, just everything in general that Jack White is. He has the mind of somebody that I would just like to sit there and probe for hours to get all of that information out of him. Before I go, I can't fail to highlight some of my other absolute top favorites, and it's a competition on this record with me. Trust me, I love so many songs here that it is difficult to just play favorites, but I have not yet mentioned 300 Mile Per Hour Torrential Outpour Blues. That is a tongue twister there, but it's a fun tune in a way. Even though it is so melancholy and very relaxing and soothing to listen to, it does have its moments where it picks up just a bit, whether it be those drums and Meg hitting the cymbals or just the guitar exploding a little bit more. But I like how it's just mainly an acoustic guitar building and then Jack White's voice guiding the whole time. And right before that, we have a song that was my favorite song for the longest time. All throughout 2007, 2008, this track dominated my life and is still one of my absolute favorites. You don't know what love is, you just do as you're told. And that goes once again with the cautious warnings that I feel like Jack White gives off. And he builds and pulls from his own personal life. You don't know what love is, you just do as you're told. That just says it all right there in the title of the track. We get some great guitars on this one. I love that outro that's just the guitar solo. Just the musicianship and the top-notch quality of the track in general make it one of the White Stripes' best singles that they have ever released. I'm slowly turning into you as the final song that I want to talk about, and it's one that definitely sees Jack at a different point of view lyrically. It seems like maybe he's afraid of what he's becoming, and I like the kind of foreboding tune that we get from a track like this. Overall, if you can't tell, I love Icky Thump. I'm happy to do a throwback review of it in honor of its 10th anniversary. It's hard to believe that I bought this record 10 years ago. I got it a little bit late. It came out in the summer of 2007. I myself purchased it in the fall after hearing a couple of the tracks on the radio. I still wasn't super able to access music at that time due to my strict parents. but I have specific memories of listening to songs on this record like You Don't Know What Love Is, and then just going out, getting the record for myself, and cherishing it. So for me, this is a 5 out of 5, one of my favorite White Stripes albums. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, and if there's other throwback reviews you want to see me do, definitely sound off in the comments. It would really be awesome if you guys are able to support me on Patreon. It's that annotation over in the corner of the screen right here, or you can tap right below me if you want to see my top 10 White Stripes songs, or another recent video that I did right over here. All of my social media links can be found in the description. Other than that, I'll see you very soon right here on ARTV.